I'm here from Eureka Springs, and I know the gallery you were talking about, with all the Lois Friend pieces in it. And I would just like to take this opportunity to say thank you very much for two enormously influential people. One is James Joyce. It's Bloom's Day today, the day on which Ulysses is set, 1904, June 16th. And the other is Josh Heston, who's responsible for this and for bringing me all the way here from Eureka Springs and everybody else from wherever they came from. Thank you, Josh. Big congratulations for this wonderful event. I'm really looking forward to September 16th, too. In Eureka Springs, if you know Eureka Springs, which you probably do, you probably all know the Crescent Hotel, and you probably all know it has a reputation of being the most haunted hotel in America, while we're on the spook theme. It's my job to run the ghost tours at the Crescent Hotel. So I've been doing that for a few years. It's sort of a late night thing, and you get kind of wired after doing the ghost tours. So when I come home, what I tend to do is sit down and write some stories. And the stories that I've just finished a book, which should be out in a couple of weeks. It's called House of 100 Rooms, Stories the Ghost Tour Guides Do Not Tell. And it's a lot of ghost stories that I made up using the characters of the ghosts that are at the Crescent Hotel and the locations of the hotel. It's loosely inspired humbly by Washington Irving's Tales of the Alhambra. This was originally called Tales of the Crescent, and now it's called House of 100 Rooms. So I'm going to read a little bit of that. There's an epigraph to chapter 3, which is what I'm going to read the beginning of. I have a little bit of poetry at the beginning of every one. And so this is a little piece. I wonder if anybody here will know the poet. I certainly was surprised when I read it. Just 4 lines. There are more guests at table than the hosts invited. The illuminated hall is thronged with quiet, inoffensive ghosts, as silent as the pictures on the wall. Any guesses? Anybody? Longfellow. Can you believe that? Okay, so this is chapter 3. It's called Under the Stairs. The Crescent Hotel today looks much as it did in 1886, though the interiors have been reimagined and the grounds redesigned many times. We can see, from old photographs lining the walls, the lobby when it was a series of parlors, at another time decorated as gaudily as any circus wagon, the front door when it was the back, the tennis lawns and basketball courts, now gardens for wedding ceremonies and eccentrically themed parties. Yet much in those old photographs remains unchanged. The giant limestone block walls, the convenient balconies connecting otherwise discreet rooms, the sinister annex, all is recorded on the hallway walls with varying degrees of distinctness for we who come after. The faces of individuals who lived for many years under this roof, Governor Powell Clayton, Senator Claude Fuller, the girls of the conservatory and their teachers, Richard Kearns, builder of railroads and chapels, the director and staff of the so-called cancer-curable Baker Hospital, look back at us from books and photographs and paintings, as do Mary Baker Eddy, William Jennings Bryan, James G. Blaine, Willie Nelson, and 1,000 others, some remembered, most forgotten. We are familiar with some of their expressions and with a few of their thoughts. But a person is more than a portrait. The hallway walls of the Crescent Hotel are olive green, textured like orange peel or reptile skin, creating shapes into which one would be ill-advised to tear too long. All sounds seem to come from somewhere else. The lighting is dim and everywhere, dim and flickering. Listen carefully, and you can hear a low murmur, many voices in many rooms and moods, filling the emptiness. And who is to say it is only the living who are speaking? A place is more than a thing. It's everything that happens in that place, and a building is more than its walls. The Crescent Hotel is a crucible where life flourishes in generations of lives, beyond the individual span, defying time's arrow. In some sense, the brigadier, the nurse, the shyster, the students, the painters and the pastry cooks are all still here, almost, but not quite, substantial. Presences permeate the rooms, the hallways that tilt unpredictably, the crystal dining room, too vast and full of shadows to discern at a glance, the uncontrollable ornamental gardens, and of course, the morgue. At the Crescent Hotel, the living of today walk among the dead of the ages. Stand outside, look up, and you will see the peculiar purple chimney stacks, legacy of the despicable genius Norman Baker. Little Brecky bounced his ball under that great oak tree outside the laundry room. Close your eyes and you can see the soldiers and telephone operators stepping down from the bus from Monette. Hear their laughter, see the awe on their faces as they look up at the great stone castle in the forest where they will let down their hair for the next few days. How many times did the president of the conservatory, Richard Thompson, and his wife, Mary Carson Breckenridge, pass through the great glass-paned entrance doors, together or separately? How many have held those doors open for others? And who returns? No one knows these premises better than the staff of the hotel, and none are more familiar with the narrow halls, dark corners, and repeated inexplicable occurrences than the ghost tour guides, who walk these corridors every evening till after midnight. Ghost tour guides are like the houses in Eureka Springs, no two alike. They all have their own favorite incidents and characters and times of the past. They have their costumes and their aliases, their masks and their secret beliefs. The company of guides changes. Some seasons composed mostly of ambitious young on the way to other destinations. In other years, the guides are older with stories of their own. The tales heard on the tours have been told for generations and change only a little with each storyteller. The tour guides are the bearers of legend, the keepers of history, the presenters to the present of the past. Their fingers point to the moon, across which bright face pass shadows, shapes that may or may not exist in this reality, but certainly do somewhere. The shades of night, flying above the 1886 Crescent Hotel on a mountain top in a thick forest, hard to find, like the Grail Castle of old. At a certain point, somewhere in space and time, one of that company was a rotund little fellow named Davies. And if you want to hear his story, you have to buy the book. Which will be available in a couple of weeks, I hope.